Welcome back, the old two-stroker YouTube channel. Today we're not exactly working on junk, a little bit different today. Today we're working on some nice trucks, because they're not mine. What we got here is, what year is this?
79.
79. Freightliner, 892 in it. And what we're going to do to it is put some jakes on it. The boys already pulled the valve covers off for me, so we'll be getting to that. I thought I might take y'all along for the ride, so stay tuned. We'll be working on this. You can see a lot of this boy here. This is Kyle. This is his truck, and we're gonna do his cab over while I'm here also. Got a little bank balance issue, so we're gonna give that a tune-up. So sit tight. I'll take you along for the ride. All right, so we're gonna start here. I got the injector lines off because we're going to need to pull them off anyway because the jakes take different injector lines. We're going to do a full tune-up while we're here. I'll fast forward through all that. But anyway, Kyle asked me, how does a jake work? Like, what does it actually do? And it doesn't have anything to do with like exhaust back pressure or anything like that. But what it does do is this mounts over the top here like this. Change to longer bolts, obviously. This finger here rides on your injector lobe, and when the injector rocker arm comes up, pushes up on this, see it's a piston. This will be the solenoid, locks the oil pressure inside the jake housing when the jakes are on. This pushes the oil pressure, and because oil can't be compressed, this piston in turn comes out. And that pushes on your exhaust rocker. So as you normally would be firing on that cylinder, right as the injector would fire, it releases all the compression out of the exhaust, which is how they work. It's a compression brake. So the motor does all the work, physically compressing the air in the cylinder, and then there's no combustion. It just releases it out the exhaust. That's why they're so loud. So instead of being like a exhaust brake where it closes the turbo, closes turbo flow, closes exhaust flow, this actually just releases all the work that the motor has done to compress the air, just right out the exhaust, just poof, just let it go. And that's how it actually brakes, because you use the engine to do the work to compress all the air on each cylinder. It adds up, it's not just the one, and then you're essentially wasting that work because you're not firing that cylinder. Obviously the jakes, the reason it doesn't fire is because the jakes only work physically when the buffer switch, which works on the side of the governor, tells the engine that it's not at idle and at the no fuel position. You know what I mean? So that's why the jakes only come on when you back off the throttle. Because when you back off the throttle, the engine is not at idle. It knows it's not at idle, and so that the buffer switch closes the contacts, puts power to those jake solenoids, and that's what locks them up, and that's how they come on, like electronically. All right, boys, delay of game. Look and see if you tell me if you could see something wrong with this picture here. One of these things is not like the others. And if you look, I was just looking, that's how I know this. I don't know if I can get this light in there so you guys can see. That spring is busted completely. Totally wasted. So let's get it apart and see what we got. Oh, boys. It's busted into about 30 pieces. I don't know where the top retainer piece is, but the snap ring actually survived the ordeal, which is pretty impressive. Delay of game. Shit. And we are like, so I don't know if y'all remember this truck, but this, I met these guys at the Boston Spa truck show just last summer when we went there, and I was looking at these trucks. They're just totally beautiful trucks. But it's an absolutely beautiful truck. They've done such a nice job on it. So anyway, the point of the story is I'm like 2.5 hours from home, and you know, I didn't bring a spare cylinder head or nothing like that, so we're gonna have to try to track down one of these. If I get a spring and a retainer clip, I think we'll be all right. In the meantime, let's keep plugging away and get as far as I can, I guess. Look at this, so, nope. So here we go, guys. We're looking at special tools. We're gonna put the Jake bridge in here, of course, and in order to adjust this, you put a 0015 feeler gauge back here and an 0015 feeler gauge back here. And when you push down here like this, they both need to be tight. That's not the case, of course, because no one's ever going to get that lucky. So before you break this nut free, what guys usually do is they just grab a wrench and they go to town and think they can hold this thing, and you can't. This is like a 25 foot-pound lock nut. You're not going to be able to hold it. And what happens is they snap that stud off, and then you're friggin' hosed. So get the friggin' special tool, put it in there like that, and then break your nut free. Done and done. Alright, so we got her broke free now. Set it back on here. See if I can get you guys an angle. I don't know that I can. You're very cumbersome. I want you to know that. So then, I got this little custom thing here. I think you can see that. Yeah. I got this little custom bent cut piece of feeler gauge because the back side of that has nubs and you got to be able to fit in there. Can you see that? Like that. So run that down until it touches. That's it right there. And it goes a little bit more. 25 foot-pounds on this thing, which we're not going to do right now, but I just want to see if I'm close. That's pretty close right there, fellers. Pretty close. Yeah. We're good. Now torque it. Done. Only takes 7 times.
Reach out to him and run out there before we go any further.
Probably.
See if we can, now we know what we have.
Oh boys, more delay of game. All these are tore up. I don't know if that comes through on the camera or not. But they are wasted. Now the rockers aren't a big deal because I can swap. We have to change the right side anyway for the Jake, and they're identical, so I could change this rocker with the one we took off from the other side, but the tips are all friggin' mashed. And then the other issue I found was, look at this. This caught my eye because it was half hanging out of here. But this is not supposed to just come out of there. It's got oil holes. The oil has to go past that. But it just freely rotates in this rocker arm. So there's nothing to say that the oil holes are even going to stay aligned. So I really don't advise running that. So you know a guy with a Parks motor kind of locally. It's a 671. So I'm going to see if we can't rob all the rocker arms and that one piece that we need. I mean, if we got to buy a whole motor, we got to buy a whole motor at this point, like just to get the parts. But I would imagine it isn't very expensive. It's weird though that only this side, every one of them is ate up. Every one of them. So I don't know. I'll film installing the Jakes on this side. I didn't film it on the other side just because I was like working. But here's what I got. You got the 3 sitting on there, and then waiting on that thing to put it in here. You could tell, you could see on these where they were. It's shiny, but it's nice and smooth. It ain't dug in like it is on them other ones. They're just tore right out of it. Fun. So here's where we're at, fellas. We are now pulling parts off of this side so we can finish buttoning up the other side until we get a phone call about getting parts. So here's what we got. Look at this. This is slicker than hell. Me and Kyle just came up with this deal. But what we got going on, let me see if I can get you in here. Golly, this thing is cumbersome. Okay. Here's what we got. What we did was we took a 9/16 socket, put it down on the collar, and then used the hold down nut and some washers to remove the spring tension, so that now maybe in theory this will drop right in. Oh dude, that is just like the Lord's work. It really is. And maybe Uncle Wayno here can get this. Dude, clip right in.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
Oh, Gump, you're a genius. That's it. That's the ball game. Done. Let's finish this side up. Now all I gotta do is back this nut up. You hold the socket with pliers, back the nut off. Done. Okay guys, so the astute amongst you will notice that we are buttoned up over here. So to install the Jakes, you got to change your right side bridge and adjust the bridges like I showed you. And then you'll notice the valve train's trashed over here. So we used the bridges from the other side that we had to remove because they were in good shape. They're all adjusted up. And we went, found a parts motor at a neighbor's and took all the rockers off, changed all the rockers, and then the injector followers were all beat up, if you remember this. And I showed them how to pull the injector followers out, keep your injectors still in time, and put them back together. If you guys really want to see that, let me know, I'll do a video on it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run the overhead on this side, adjust the valves and our injectors, and then we are going to button the rest of it up. Fuel lines, electrical line, and that's the ball game. So let's get to it.
Oh, the keys on. That.
Go ahead and just like crank it over, make sure we don't hear any weird noises or nothing. You can keep cranking. Right. Go ahead.
Keep cranking.
Yep, you'll see that piston come down slowly, and then it, yeah.
Hopefully we got power to it.
Yeah, that's the next thing we're gonna test here.
If I did it right, we should, but I'm not gonna say I didn't do it right. I did. I did that part of it.
Looks good from my house, Jim.
Hey, it's working. So when you were doing that right there, that one whole bank or one cylinder?
2 cylinders.
Oh, that's so the link together.
Each master has a slave.
I saw that.
Yeah. So when you hold this in, it fills the Jake heads with pressure. That's what these little connectors are.
Yeah.
It allows the oil transfer to the other one. And then if you watch them, the pistons will gradually come down. Now when the motor's warm, the oil flows a lot better. And typically they're used at RPM, so there's way more oil than there is. So that's why it takes so long when it's cold, especially. That's why I said, somebody was just asking me about this, and they were like, how come when I rev it cold, like I'll rev it and then the Jakes never come on to bring the motor back down from revving? And I'm like, well, that's why. Because you'll do that, you can do that 100 times, and then the Jakes will barely start to work.
I've always said you shouldn't run them anyways until the oil gets warm enough to. Because you know, we got one at work. It's a 60 series.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
they're all oil over electric, or electric over oil, you know? So they all work the same way. Suppose we could put the covers on it. What was that? That air shutdown? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I should, you know.
I was gonna say I heard some noise. I would like to check. I would like to check them for electrical power, though.
We'd,
So
Before you.
adjust your idler.
actually, the idle's pretty good. I can check the. I'll probably turn it up a little bit. See if the idle's a little low. That sound a little slow to you guys?
So every once in a while,
I can check
idle?
it. I got an RPM gauge. I got a
Well,
tach
I don't know that.
with me.
It actually idled better than I ever thought it would.
Yeah,
Nope.
notorious for it come to a stop, push clutch, and about fall on his face.
Really?
Yeah, but it don't do it all the time. Huh. That's the weird part of it is. I might come to a stop, push in the clutch, stalls.
No shit. Yeah, they don't usually
Start right back
stall.
up.
Yeah.
Start right back up.
Yeah.
You gotta put the switch in on the governor, right?
Yeah, I'll do that dead last. What I'm gonna do is, for test purposes, we're gonna start truck again.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna put. Then we're gonna take electrical power
Wait until
and,
it's turned
and
this
put
on and then
it,
just
put the
jumper,
key on,
jumper.
and then we're just gonna jumper to each bank individually, and I just want to make sure that both solenoids actuate electronically. You can physically watch them. It doesn't even really have to be running, to be honest with you. But I do need key on power because I'm sure that's wired key on.
I think I wired it to the key on. Because I went off that bank on the terminal block through I used a 20 amp breaker.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, if you listen to it right here, when as soon as it comes to a stop, it falls in on his face.
Let's just say it sounds alright there.
I said, you got a video. I have
To
a
me,
video where.
to me it was idling better right there than I've ever heard it idle.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that was the smoke eliminator.
That shouldn't touch it shouldn't affect your idle at all.
It's because of the
There's a
hood
gap in
stack.
that.
You got to keep the hood
Instead
stack.
of always.
There's a gap in that. It actually, not for nothing, it could be the hood stack because that thing's gonna sound way better through that thing than it is through the stacks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's more crisp. It's right here. You're gonna hear it better.
This, the way I've got this set up, it's pretty crisp.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just closer to your eardrum right here, so it
that's right.
changes the way it.
That's right.
It's a lot
I
less-
mean, that does muffle down some because it's still running through even though there's a sleeve in there, it's still running through a structure.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Yeah,
kinda-
mine are the same way. Mine are straight. That's the only way to have Detroit.
So what I did at first is I told you, Kyle cut so I'm a brand new mufflers, Kyle cut the first screen out. There's a pyramid screen that goes up,
Yeah.
and it forces all the exhaust to the outside. So we cut that pyramid screen out, and I put it all back together, and it had too much of a ting to it.
Yeah.
So I was looking around, and then I was looking at, there's little dimples in there on both ends, on the output and the input, so that the pipe can only go down so far, and the elbow can only come up so far. So I called the local Napa dealer, and I said, hey, what's the OD of a 5-inch pipe? And he told me, I fit right down in there. So we heated the dimples,
Yep.
and I cut the pipe to fit the dimples, so that these pipes still sat, and this pipe still sat in there.
So it's just straight now, like straight through. Yep, absolutely. I took mine in because I really like to look at the factory cages.
So did
I'm
I.
a sucker for that.
Yeah.
And I just put, there's nothing in mine. It's just a straight piece of pipe right through it, and I was able to make it work with the factory hangers and stuff. Yeah. There's your muffler right there. It's on top of the engine. Turbo's definitely a muffler. Legally, it's a muffler.
That's sweet.
I'm happy about that.
That is awesome.
I want to take it for a ride.
Yep, I'll button up the, we gotta get that idle cover on it for the governor, the spring pack cover. I gotta lock down the buffer screw, and that's ball game.
Jamie, where did you put that cover
take
for
them
the...
exhaust off. You know,
How'd it feel right off idle, all right?
I can't get over how better it starts. Even warm, it doesn't fire. Don't fire that quick. What?
Is the beamer in the way or no?
No.
I didn't know if you wanted to back in.
He's gonna put that in there. I think he can get it up in there without.
It feels all right power-wise?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Down, let it. It should shut off at idle. It shouldn't stall you out.
Oh, okay.
So you should be good. The truck should be totally self-sufficient. So, like, run it right down to idle for me, and we'll make sure it doesn't stall.
Okay.
Does it go away at higher speeds? It's just at that 55. I wonder if you gotta have them shaved.
And tires are brand new.
What a pain in the ass.
I bought Michelin's just so I...
Yeah, right, so you wouldn't have this problem. Yeah, exactly. Did maybe the drum throw a weight?
So what I think's going on is I think they put the tires on and balanced them. They put the bags inside the tires.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling me. And I put the weights. You ever seen the weights that are centrifugal?
So you got the central behind that.
So I think
you gotta get the bags out of the tire.
I need to take the bags out of the tires.
100%.
Yep.
Definitely. Back from the Kuznos without issue. Jim's truck came out excellent. That's the Freightliner conventional. I think it's FLC120, whatever that is. I'm not sure. The Freightliner nomenclature, I'm not good at that. But anyway, had an absolute blast with them boys. Jim, if you're watching this, thanks for all the hospitality. You guys were just fantastic. Can't wait to see you at a show. Hopefully we'll get to go to McCungie with them boys and meet them down there. So you guys stay tuned for that. Of course, I'll bring you along for the ride. But that's gonna do it on this video. Thanks for watching. Jim, thanks for the opportunity. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to check our website, old2stroker.com. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm always doing this stuff. See you soon.